Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Kat. It's time. We're finally going to start our sarahjmaas journey. I've been wanting to start my sarahjmaas journey for years, and I just felt like the timing wasn't right, so I just did not pick up any of her books. I did want to start with the Throneofglass series, and specifically with the assassinsblade, just to kickstart my journey into her world and her books. I'm sure a lot of us have watched her interview with Alex on the Call Her Daddy podcast, and she has announced that she's coming out with 2 new A Court of Thorns and Roses books. I don't think I will be able to catch up in time to get to those books because my plan is to first finish Throneofglass series and then get into A Court of Thorns and Roses. Everyone is so hyped and so excited about these books coming out, and honestly I'm kind of feeding into that energy, so I am more excited to start my sarahjmaas journey. I'm more excited to start this book. Sarah J. Maas is a household name. My fiance, he doesn't read. He's not really into reading, but he even knows who she is. So that's saying something. The Assassinsblade are basically 5 short stories. There's this whole online debate about whether you should read this first or read this third or fourth. I'm gonna read this book first because it seems like that was the original suggested reading order, and a lot of people have said it's the best. Just a quick update, a small update. I'm currently on chapter 4 of the first short story, which is The Assassin and the Pirate Lord. Honestly, I am pretty surprised by how much I am enjoying it. I am only 4 chapters in and on page 26, so I haven't even made that much progress in the book, clearly. But I'm actually liking it, and I like this writing style. I like the dynamic between Selena and Sam. I do already like Selena's character. She definitely has this like no BS attitude, and she knows that she's good at what she does and she can get things done. And I'm liking Sam too. I know what happens. I've had every single Throneofglass, A Court of Thorns and Roses, and Crescent City book spoiled for me because everyone talks about it and I've heard pretty much all the spoilers. One thing I do have to say, and this isn't a critique or anything, it's just kind of like a realization, is that books back then, like early 2000s and stuff, around the time when Throneofglass came out, they were edited way better. I've noticed that while reading this. I noticed it when I read The Diviners by Libba Bray and Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. The editing was just so much more concise. The writing just felt very cohesive. It just made it easy to read and follow along and picture whatever the author is describing. I don't know what it is, but I feel like some of the books that I've read that have been more recently published, at least kind of like in the last 3 to 5 years, there's not that much editing that's been going into it, or lack of care when it comes to editing. I'm not trying to bag on editors, and I'm not trying to say every recently released book has bad editing, but it just feels like the flow to the writing is lacking in a lot of books that have been coming out. Maybe it's just me, I don't know. Maybe people don't really care about editing as much and they're just all about the vibes and the good time, which is totally valid. But for me, writing is a make or break. I do like how this was edited. I do feel like there was a lot of care put into it, and that's not to take away from the author because they have to be the ones to write, obviously. Hey guys, welcome back. Bit of an odd angle here as I'm just laying in bed. I did want to quickly update that I finished the first short story in Assassinsblade. I actually really liked it. I enjoyed it far more than I thought I would. I really liked our characters, Sam Cortland and Selena Sardathian. I liked their dynamic, I liked their friendship, I like how they work together. And I also like how this first short story establishes who Selena is, what she believes in, what her values are, what her ideals are. She was sent on a mission to retrieve slaves, and she just couldn't go through with it. She was willing to risk her life. She was willing to risk everything to free these slaves. I think it was a great way to like introduce us to her and just her character and her personality. I've read some discourse around Celaena's character and how she can be kind of annoying and just like arrogant and bratty. I don't really get that vibe from her. Like, yes, she's overly confident, borderline arrogant, but I think she has every right to be because she is very skilled as an assassin. She knows what she's doing. She can disarm men that are bigger than her, stronger than her. I think that she has every right to brag about it and every right to like let people know, hey, don't cross me or else. I really do love Sam's character. I love how he's supportive. I love how he calls her out on her bullshit. I love how he is just straight up, but he's also just such a supportive friend. I guess the Pirate Lord will make an appearance again. I have a feeling that he's a character that will come again in the later stories. Now I'm on the second short story, which is The Assassin and the Healer, and I'm on chapter 5. In this short story, we're introduced to, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but I'm gonna go with Yureen, who is a healer. She did lose her abilities. She's stuck working in a tavern where she is absolutely miserable. She's not making enough to escape. We see how her and Celaena are introduced to each other. It's really cool seeing how Celaena is teaching Yureen to defend herself. Again, like I mentioned in the previous clip, I really love the way that this is written. I feel like the rest of the book will be written similarly. It's just so descriptive. It's such good visuals of this world, of these characters. The world is introduced to us slowly, but also colorfully, if that makes sense. Like, I can picture everything. I just miss when books were written with this level of description where it's not too much, where it's like burdening you, but it's enough for you to imagine. I honestly even feel inspired to write better. I always strive to be a better writer, but reading this so far has made me want to like just expand my vocabulary and expand the way I describe characters and like their movements. So anyways, I am gonna go to sleep because I'm really tired. I just finished The Assassin and the Healer, and now I am on The Assassin and the Desert. So I'm on chapter 2 of that short story. The Assassin and the Healer, I did like it. I think it further showed us the kind of character Celaena is and how she's willing to help others and train others to take care of themselves and like defend themselves, fight for themselves. She doesn't want to see other people weak. She doesn't want to see other people miserable in their lives. It seems like she's willing to help those who, in her view, deserve it. So in The Assassin and the Healer, Yureen, she's living a miserable life as a barmaid, and she has these big hopes and dreams to get out of there and then train at, I forgot how it's pronounced or what the name was called, but it's like a school for healers. It's like one of the best ones in this world, and she doesn't have the money for it and she doesn't have the resources for it. One night she was almost attacked by a group of men, and Celaena thankfully was there to save the day, but Celaena can't always be there, so she trains Irene on how to defend herself, how to fight back and not let anybody overpower her, and just some like tips and tricks. Celaena just like established this relationship with Irene by not only giving her the set of skills needed to like fight for herself, but also left her a generous amount of money so she could get out of her situation and then go to that healer school. I forgot to share my rating. So the first short story, which is Assassin and the Pirate Lord, I gave it a 4.5. I was teetering between 4.0 and 4.5, but I feel like it was a strong start, a good strong introduction to Celaena's character and even Sam's character. And then for the second one, the Assassin and the Healer, 4.0 makes the most sense to me. Just gives us a deeper look into our main character and everybody she encounters. I feel like these characters are going to be part of the actual series. We'll probably see Yureen Towers again. It's actually really fun. I didn't expect it to be so fun. I don't really know what I was expecting, but I didn't expect myself to enjoy it as much as I've had so far. Personally, I like the writing. I feel like it gives a nice, clean, clear picture of this world, of these characters, of their motives, the conflicts, and obviously it paints a really good picture of who Selena is. She is a complicated 16-year-old. She has a past that haunts her and has definitely impacted a lot of how she views the world and people and whatnot, and even in some ways herself. She is very cocky and confident, but she's able to back it up with her skills, and I really like that. I love it when characters know that they're good and how good they are. It reminds me of, so right now I am watching Jujutsu Kaisen. I just started it like a week or so ago, and I am like deep in this shit. Okay, I am so addicted to the show. I just started season 3, so I'm catching up. But one of the characters in there, his name is Gojo. He's like the most powerful sorcerer in this world, and he knows it. He likes to brag about it. He's overly confident. He likes to show off his skills, but that's because he is very powerful. He's able to back up his words with his skills and his experience and his knowledge, and that's how I feel about Selena. I will see you guys next time for the next update. I finished the 3rd short story in this book, which was The Assassin and the Desert. I thought it was a really strong story. It gave a lot of insight into how Selena's worldview and perspective has shifted and changed and shaped itself. There's a lot of lessons I feel like she learned in this story about herself and just how other people are, and not everybody who is kind towards you has the best intentions. In this story, Selena is sent off to the Red Desert to train with the silent assassins. She was sent there by Arabin, who is the guy she works for, who's like the king of assassins, as punishment for freeing all the slaves, because that cost him a lot of money. As a result, she was sent out here to train with them and to come back with the letter of approval for like good behavior. So she arrives at the Red Desert and she meets Ansel, who becomes like a really good acquaintance of hers and eventually a really good friend. Through a series of events, she gets the opportunity to train with the Mute Master, and then Ansel isn't too happy about that because she has her own agenda. Later in the story, Selena is betrayed by Ansel. Ansel actually betrayed all the assassins that were her supposed friends. It's kind of wild because the way the friendship between Ansel and Selena played out, it felt very genuine and real. When we got to Ansel's betrayal, I was really shocked and surprised. I was like, no way, because Ansel did such a great job in being like a friend who truly cared. And to some extent, she probably did care, but ultimately her own personal agenda was of greater importance to her than her loyalty. Selena, I did feel bad for her because she finally had a friend, someone she could call a friend, only to be backstabbed by that person. It's also cool to see how she trains with the Mute Master, because he trains her to be like a snake, to be as swift as a snake, as flexible, as lethal, as sneaky, to be as precise with her attacks. That ended up serving her well in the end when she had to face Ansel. And it was also cool to see Selena, I keep calling her Selena, I'm going to say Selena, humbled in a way, because she of course thinks and believes that she is the greatest assassin, but then she comes to Red Desert and she's around assassins that really don't care about her and they don't praise her. They have their own set of skills that she doesn't know about or she hasn't mastered, and it kind of felt good to see her get a little humbled, you know, to kind of take that teen hubris down a notch. Now I'm on the 4th short story, which is called The Assassin and the Underworld, and that is like the second to last short story, so this is coming to an end. Also, I'm really happy I have these original covers. The new covers that have come out are literally so freaking plain. I'm really glad that I picked up these books like 4 years ago from Barnes & Noble. So I just wanted to update where I am with Assassin's Blade. It's been a few days since I actually read it, but currently I am on still The Assassin and the Underworld and on chapter 8. So far, this short story is one of my least favorites compared to the first 3 that I read. It isn't like a bad short story just because we get some more Sam scenes, and I love Sam. Tragic end, but I love Sam so much right now. He's just so charming and so witty and sarcastic, and he compliments Selena very well in terms of like their skills and their morals and their beliefs. Their friendship is very sweet as well, because no matter how much they banter and throw jabs at each other, they're always going to be there for each other. The romantic feelings that are developing and progressing, and the jealousy they both experience. Whenever Sam gets a little too snappy though, I have to call him out. Like, Samuel, tone it down, my guy. It's also crazy how snappy Selena gets. Like, she can like slice and dice you with a few words. So as far as I can remember, Selena is tasked by Arobin to disrupt a slave trade by stealing some documents or something like that from a very well-known, powerful, wealthy man. Considering the first novella where she freed over 200 slaves, she's definitely on board with taking this mission because she doesn't want to see slave trade be a thing. There is some tension between her and Sam because after the first short story where they freed all the slaves from Skulls Bay, something changed. Something changed between them. They no longer see each other in the same light. They see each other a little differently in a more romantic sense. Right after that, Selena got punished and then she had to go to the Red Desert for a little bit, and then she comes back and meets Sam, and they kind of have to pick up where they left off. There's so much time that has passed since they last saw each other. It's just kind of awkward. Are they friends? Do they still hate each other? Like, you know, everything is a bit convoluted between them. It's just so sweet and adorable to see how they're trying to figure this out while dealing with all these high stake situations. I really, really like Sam and Selena together. I know they don't end up together, sad, but I do truly like their interactions, their banter, and how they work together and all the side quests they do. They're really compatible. I did like the scene of the party they had during the Harvest Moon celebration, I believe it was, and just like how fun and exciting it was, and like Selena was letting herself go. And where I'm currently at, Selena was trying to steal these documents from that rich, powerful man. She gets caught by his security and was about to drown in the sewer. They tied her up, water's rushing in, she was about to drown, and then Sam finds her and saves her while she's recovering from all that. There are people I read online who aren't huge fans of Selena's character because, again, as I mentioned in other clips before, like, she can be arrogant, too prideful. In general, I don't like arrogant characters, but Selena's arrogance isn't written in a way that makes her unlikable. Like, the arrogance matches what she's capable of. If I can do what she's able to do, then, you know, I'd be tooting my own horn too. I'm currently on page 302, and I think there's like 430, yeah, about 435 pages in total, and so I'm pretty much almost there, a little over 100 more pages to go. I finished The Assassin and the Underworld today. I thoroughly enjoyed that short story. I thought it was really, really well done and well developed. I liked how it continued to develop and explore Selena's character as well as her relationship with Sam. I'll talk about Sam in a second, but in this short story, it really goes to show that Selena is an imperfect character and how she has to deal with the consequences of her actions. She made one mistake and she rushed into this mission that Arobin gave her. She trusted him, he ended up betraying her, and this one mistake cost a lot of lives. Initially, the mission that Arobin gave her was to find these documents in order to prevent the slave trade from happening. She trusted him, she went to go get those documents. She killed a bunch of people, and then she realized that Arobin was working against her this whole time. It was like a revenge for her freeing the slaves initially that cost him so much money. If Selena just took a moment to pause and breathe, then she would have put the pieces together. But she trusted Arobin. She trusted him because he took her in at a very young age, and she trusted that he's not doing anything to work against her. Everything made sense because when she did come back from the Red Desert, he was like doting on her. He was buying her expensive things and just being very nice. So I, in the beginning, already was suspicious of him because I'm like, he's being a little too nice to her, so something is up here. I also like how we delve deeper into her relationship with Sam, which initially was very confusing and awkward. Sam does eventually confess his love for her, And Selena doesn't say it back, at least so far. She does have these strong feelings. She just doesn't want to spend the time trying to figure out what these feelings are, if they are feelings of love, because she just had this whole mission to take care of first. I love Sam so much. I hate that I feel so attached to him because I know the unfortunate end that he meets eventually. He's very, very skilled. He has the best humor. He calls her out on her bullshit, and he's just not afraid of her. I think that's something that Selena wasn't really expecting because a lot of people know who she is and know her skills and abilities. But then to meet somebody who isn't afraid of her and she can like be vulnerable to an extent with them, that was something very new to her, and she didn't expect that. And I think that's where the feelings really developed too. I really did like how the relationship was in a way a slow burn. They had to work together a lot, and that proximity made them bond even more. And so they had a connection with each other for years. And then after Skull's Bay, that's when they realized that the connection is different now and they're connecting in other ways. The short story ended with Selena buying her freedom from the gold that the Mute Master gave her for saving his life, so he rewarded her. He also was able to buy Sam's freedom by selling a Asterian horse that she acquired from her adventures at the Red Desert. Obviously, Arobin, he doesn't like that. He's saying like nice things like congratulations, blah, 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 but he does not like that, and he's concocting some plan, I'm sure of it. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna finish this today because I'm invested, all the way invested. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm here to report that I finally finished the Assassin's Blade. So just to pick up from where I last left off, Sam is dead. I knew that was going to happen. I didn't expect it to happen in the way it did, and I didn't expect to experience the feelings that I felt following his death. It was really sad. It was sad. And it wasn't just because Sam, which is a character that I grew a little attached to, died. It's also because of what Selena was feeling. I felt so bad for her because in every short story, she's encountering some sort of betrayal. She really had like no one except Sam. Sam was her light. Sam was her only hope for a better future, and even that was taken away from her. I thought about how it would feel if I lost my partner, and he's somebody that I can't imagine a future without him. And when I imagined him dying all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I felt this like deep, hollow ache. I imagine that's what Selena felt, especially when she talked about letting the silence like take over her, engulf her completely. I know what that feels like. You don't want the silence. The chaos keeps you focused. The minute the silence takes up space, you're suddenly faced with the reality. And if you lose somebody, you're faced with the reality of the loss, like the silence of their absence. Arobin is like top grade creep. I don't know, he needs help. He needs divine intervention. He needs Jesus level of help. I hope he dies in the series, truly do, because he makes me feel icky. The Assassin in the Empire was a heartbreaking short story, but a necessary one for Selena's development. The way it was written and the events that happened were necessary to build the foundation for the rest of the series. Just for an overview, the first short story, The Assassin and the Pirate Lord, I gave a 4.5. I just felt like it was a good introduction to who Selena is, and it really helped. Well, I think this whole short story collection built her personality, but the first short story gave us like a good idea of what her personality is like. Assassin and the Healer, I gave a 4.0 star rating to. I thought it was a little slower than the other short stories, but I didn't dislike it. I really did like how Selena was willing to help Yrene out, and I do feel like Yrene is somebody who's going to make an appearance again in the series, so I'm excited to see where she is now that she's learned to defend herself. She's learned some skills from Selena, what she's going to do with that. So hopefully we get to see her character growth too. Assassin in the Desert, I also gave a 4.0 star rating to. I think this was really fundamental and crucial to Celaena's development, and just realizing that she can't just trust people all the time. Assassin in the Desert was a good short story just to see how she learned a lot from the Mute Master and how she ended up applying that later. The Assassin in the Underworld, I gave a 4.5 star rating to. I was a little misled by the title because I thought Celaena was literally going into the underworld, like hell. I was like, okay, yeah, so when does she go to the underworld? No, they're talking about like crime. They're talking about the criminal underworld. So I was totally thinking of something else. I think it was great development for Celaena and Sam. I think it was great development in their friendship to relationship, and for Celaena to like kind of figure out what she really wants. I think it was just another pivotal part of her journey. Assassin and Empire, I gave 5 stars to. I thought it was so well written, especially the emotional bits and Celaena's rage and her sadness. I know that in Throne of Glass, Celaena starts off in the salt mines. The ending of the Assassin Empire was a good transition into Throne of Glass. I just thought overall it was a very well done short story. When I first started this, I didn't have the highest expectations, and I tend to keep my expectations low for books that are very popular, just because I don't want to be disappointed by having the same expectations as other people because of the hype. It surpassed everything I thought this book would be. It is so well written, and it, like I've said this over and over again, it's so well edited. There's a flow to the writing, and I love it so much. I'm immersed in this world. I'm just with these characters. I felt attached to Sam immediately. I just felt the emotions of these characters too, especially that they're so young, they're teenagers, and they're living this very hard life, and all they want is their freedom, like a lot of teenagers do. My heart went out to Celaena. I feel like I could empathize with her quite a bit because her emotions, her feelings, they were all just so well written, and I was able to connect on that level. I ended up enjoying the way she was characterized in this book. I am really excited for her adventures in the Throne of Glass series, and I'm really excited to see what the books hold. Like I've said before, I will vlog as I read each book. So if you have joined me on the Assassin's Blade journey, thank you so much for being here. If you've read this book, if you've read this series, which I'm sure like 2/3 of the world has already, please let me know if you enjoyed it or not. Hope you guys are having a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!